you have to be open-minded to that. You have to realize that not everyone is a creep in this world. And you probably not even aware of that, of how much it takes for a man to come up to you and say hi. So the least thing that you can do, if you're not sincerely interested, or you weren't, or maybe you already have a boyfriend, or you're married or whatever, because the man doesn't know that unless you show him your ring on your finger. The man doesn't know that. So he just comes up to you and says hi. And then what you're doing, turning him down by giving this weird look, instead of being a little friendly and say hi back to him. Hello everyone, this is Geoffrey Henderson, and thank you so much for coming to our YouTube channel, Innocent Love. We appreciate that. So with that said, today I want to talk about an interesting topic. The topic that I'm going to be talking about is something very unique, because I've never really seen a message regarding YouTube. One day I was going to YouTube and I was literally typing it in, and really nothing really came up exactly for this topic. But I know this is trending and it's really out there, and you're probably wondering exactly what it is. So what it is the topic that I'm talking about is called "A Man Approaches Me, He Must Be a Creep." You know, so this really, and I don't really know, and I'll be very honest, I don't know if this is happening all over the world, or if anybody who is all over outside of the United States is actually aware of that. But I want to talk about that because this is very trendy here in the United States. So hopefully you know. If you don't know exactly what it is, I'm going to explain it really quickly. It is trending here in the United States, and basically what it is if a man approaches a woman, it could be anywhere. It could be like in a restaurant, in a gym, outside in the park, on the beach, anywhere. What happens is the mentality is that a woman is gonna look at you like, why is he talking to me? Kind of like there must be a logical reason other than if the man just simply comes up to you and says, hi, I really like you. It is something that is like over here in the United States. It's kind of, the woman looks at it like, if you don't have a logical reason why you talk to me, then don't talk to me at all. If you have a question, because most people over here assume that when you approach a woman, the woman will automatically think that he has a question, something very polite or something, you know, this is a question. But if a person comes up to you and says something like, you know, I really think you have beautiful eyes, and you know, what's your name? Automatically the woman thinks that this is weird. And I know that maybe some people of you guys don't understand that, but over here in the United States, it is very common. And I think that it has to do with the whole system in the United States, you know, whether it comes to social media, word of mouth, when somebody says, oh, don't talk to a stranger, you know, kids over here being taught to that, you know, you shouldn't talk to strangers. And maybe kids, when they grow up, they kind of think about, they have this kind of mentality of not talking to strangers, especially if it's a man, and man talking to a woman and stuff like that. So I think all this stuff really has developed out of all of these things, you know. And I think there's also some bad examples out there that you can see in movies, and you know, they have all these films where, you know, the man is very sadistic and, you know, grabs a woman and rapes her and stuff like that. And I think all of that has kind of like incorporated into a woman having this off-putting reaction towards a man if a man approaches her anything other than having a question about what time it is or whatever, you know. So the woman has this attitude like, you know, must be a creep. That's what it really does. I just wanted to explain that really quickly before I actually get into the topic. So with that said, man is a creep. That's what it is. So anyway, I want to talk about this because I think it is something that is very unfortunately and very sad that these things have happened here. And I've been a victim of that as well. I'll be honest. When I was still in the dating phase, it happened to me as well. And I want to tell you a quick story before I get into the message. And what I want to talk about is that it happened not really a couple, it was actually more than 10, 15 years ago. I think it was back in 2005, I would say. 2005, 2004, something like that. And what happened was I was working in a company called United Jewish Community in New Jersey, Whippany, New Jersey. And I still remember I was working as a press operator, and I was very young. I was in my 20s. And I always saw these women kind of walking by that were working next door, those three girls. And one of them I found personally very attractive. And I always kind of looked at her and, said she looked very cute. I would like to talk to her or something like that. So one day over the years, I decided to write her a letter because I was not really good at approaching and, talking to somebody. And so what I did was, out of my own heart, my own feelings, I really wanted to get to know this person, and I was shy, so I wrote her a letter. And I basically wrote her a nice letter, and I didn't know exactly. I was kind of shy to go over there and put it on the table or to give it to her in person. So what I decided to do was, because I knew what kind of car she was driving, over the years, when you work there for years and you see the same car, eventually whose car it belongs to, because it's not like that you're spying on them, but it's basically you just over the years you started to realize that car belongs to this person, this car belongs to that person, and that's how it happened to me. I kind of just knew over the years what kind of car she was driving. So, and I never really spoke to her, to be honest. Not maybe say hi, but that's about it. And what I did was I just, I wrote that letter and I put it on her car, knowing that, she will see it when she drives home, goes home from work. So I put it there and I was very excited, and I just left and drove home and just kind of was seeing what's going to happen, And what happened was a couple of days later, I don't know exactly when, but it was a couple of days later, what happened was that I got a call to come upstairs to the office. So I said, what's going on? Okay, let me go upstairs. So I went upstairs, and there were a couple of men in the office, they were all wearing suits and stuff like that. I walked inside, I sat down and said, okay, what's going on? And then I started to realize that those people were detectives or some kind of a, law enforcement, something like that, And they were talking to me like, we have some questions we wanted to ask you. And at that point, I didn't know exactly what was going on. But then all of a sudden, I looked on the table and I saw the letter that I wrote to her. And as soon as I saw that, I instantly jumped up and I said, why is my letter there? Why do you have my letter? I literally said to them, and they said they didn't even got to this point of telling me what this is all about. But I kind of got a step ahead, and I basically said, hey, why is this letter there? This letter is for somebody that I wanted to get to know, and I very sincerely wrote her this letter. And at that point, they didn't even say anything anymore, because I think they realized that I was very sincere. I was like, I wanted to get to know the person out of my heart. Nothing creepy, nothing weird going on. And I was very upset when that happened, and I walked out and they let me go and everything was resolved, no problem. So I figured they realized that I was sincere. I was not a creep or anything like that. And my message that I wanted to talk about, I know it's a little longer this time, is basically that I started to realize that no matter what you do to approach a female, especially here in the United States, it seems like that a female will automatically think that this guy must be weird in some way, And this is what I wanted to get out of that. And it is so sad that you cannot even go anywhere in this world, and simply, or at least in the United States, and simply just go to a person and say hi. What happens is that they just give you this off look and like, you must be a creep. Why are you talking to me like that? And I personally think from a woman's perspective that it is extremely sad, because what you're doing is that you are limiting your opportunities of finding a great man in your life, and you should not react like that. You know that it takes a lot for a man to come up and get this this bravery inside of him to walk over to you and say hi to you, and you probably not even aware of that, of how much it takes for a man to come up to you and say hi. So the least thing that you can do, if you're not sincerely interested, or or maybe you already have a boyfriend, or you're married or whatever, because the man doesn't know that unless you show him your ring on your finger. The man doesn't know that. So he just comes up to you and says hi. And then what you're doing is that you are actually turning him down by giving him this weird look instead of being a little friendly and say hi back to him. And what you're doing is as a female, that you actually really destroying your opportunity of finding a great man in your life. And back in the old days, that's how it used to be. Men used to approach a woman, and women nowadays are wondering why a man doesn't approach her anymore. It's because of all these odd situations. And I got a message about that anyway that I want to talk about next time. And you as a female, don't blow this opportunity. Don't blow this opportunity. It is so important that it takes a lot for a man to approach you. You have to be open-minded to that. You have to realize that not everyone is a creep in this world. Just just be open-minded and be friendly and be approachable. And I talked about this in another message. Be approachable and don't give somebody this look, okay? Try to communicate. I know it may be shocking to you when all of a sudden, you're not even aware of that. You just simply mind your own business. Maybe you didn't prepare yourself to be approached to. But realize that there are still men out there that will approach you if they find you attractive enough. You should always have this mentality in your mind, especially if you go to a place where people, and you should notice as a female, where people like to meet other people. Like if you go to a club or you go to a bar or even a restaurant or a park, there's a lot of people out there. When you're in public, you have to realize that, and especially if you're an attractive woman, then don't be surprised if somebody approaches you. Now, of course, I also understand this, that if you are a very attractive woman, you may be getting approached a lot. You may be getting approached a lot, and maybe this also has created in you this mentality of please leave me alone. You kind of feeling like a celebrity who's you cannot get a break from the paparazzi. Wherever they go, the cameras are on them, people are taking pictures of you, and you're just freaking annoyed. And then if somebody comes along and says, "Hey, can I take a picture?" You just, "No, leave me alone." And I understand, and I don't know what it's like being a female. And I'll be very honest. I don't know what it's like when you get this constant attention from men, stuff like that. But you know what? It comes with the territory. You are a female, and if you're out there, first of all, you being out there with other men, then that automatically signals to the man that you are a person that can be approached to, especially if you go to a place where people meet. And if you don't go there with your friends, and if you don't go there with your boyfriend or your husband, then men automatically assume that, that maybe you're looking for a partner. Some men are very dirty that say that maybe you're looking for sex. It could be anything like that. But you just have to realize that if you don't want to be approached, and I understand your point of view. If you don't want to be approached, you know what? It is what it is. You can change the environment that is around you. But in the same time, if you are looking for a partner in your life, and or at least you're open-minded to it, you should at least be approachable, and meaning that, be friendly when a man comes over to you and says hi. At least say hi back to you. He's not coming to you and going into your pants. He just wants to get to know you. And nothing wrong with get to know somebody. Nothing wrong with that. So just be open, because what you're doing is that you are making a man fearful to approach anybody else, because they're getting this downside on you. What happens is that they go somewhere else, they're just going to be more and more shy to go out there and approach somebody, because they constantly feel like they're going to be rejected. So you actually, even though it didn't bother you, it may destroy the opportunity for that man to find somebody else, or maybe find a perfect partner in his life, because he was too afraid to approach that woman because the experience that he had with you. And what happens is the other woman that would have been the perfect match for him will never come into reality because he never had the guts to approach that woman because the bad experience that he had with you. Be friendly, you know, so that way the man is not going to get shy and it's not going to get afraid of, okay, it didn't work out, I'm going to go to somebody else. He'd be able to do that. But if you just turn him down and give him this,
Are you serious?
come on, don't do that, you know. Keep the man open to find somebody else in a relationship if that man cannot be with you. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about, you know. And with that said, guys, I really appreciate you listening to me and listen to this video. And if you have any suggestions, any comments, please leave it below. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, and peace out.